Hi, I'm Chris Burton with Moisture Warranty Corporation. Today we're going to introduce you to a unique new product called Damsill. Now, Damsill is designed to handle the #1 problem in residential construction related to moisture, and that's problems with leaking windows. This product was designed with a few unique features that make it easier and less expensive to install and much more successful at containing moisture problems from windows. Damsill comes in 3-foot lengths like what I'm showing you and can be joined together to any length to handle ganged windows. Now behind me we've built a wall here and put a moisture barrier over it and install it exactly like you would see in the field. We're going to do an X cut in the moisture barrier and show you how to install Damsill. Now that's not the proper way to put Tyvek or a moisture barrier on, but a lot of times in the field you'll either see an X cut or a Y cut or a box cut, but all of them produce a unique problem with leaking at the jamb and the sill intersection. So we're going to be showing Damsill going right in here. We'll do this cut and show you how to put that in. Step 1 of the installation is measuring the total length of the rough sill to see what length we want to cut our Damsill to. Now, one unique feature about Damsill is that the drainage ports that are installed here that let the water go out are offset on either end. On this end it's offset by 2 inches. On this end it's offset by 1. That's so if you need to make it so that the drainage port does not fall directly in line with the end, you can cut one side or the other and it'll offset it. What we don't want to do is have our drainage port directly in line with the jamb sill intersection, because that's where our highest failure rate is. We want the offset of that drainage port to be off by at least 1 inch. So I'm going to measure across here. I've got 34 inches exactly, and I can hold Damsill up here and I can see where that's cut it. If I cut it right here on this end, this drainage port's going to fall almost exactly in line with this the joint between the sill and the jamb. But if I set it off here and I make my cut here, it's going to fall about 1 inch off, or it's going to actually cut here and the next drainage port will sit about 2 inches over. That's the way we want to make our cut. So I'm going to cut 34 inches and make my cut on this side. All right, I've marked off my 34 inches and I'm going to be cutting on the left-hand side of the Damsill. As you can see, here's our drainage port. Our cut is going to be right here. Our next drainage port over is over here. What we want the water to do is hit this center channel and come over to here away from the miter joint. So I've made that cut there, or I've made that mark there. We'll go ahead and make our cut. Now, Damsill is made of ABS plastic, very tough. When you cut it, you'll get a little bit of this edge off of the cut here. Just clean that off. And you can see that we've got our cut now, and we're going to have about an inch, a little over an inch here, where we're going to have our drainage port. And that's the way we want it. So on this side we have our drainage port offset. On this side we have our drainage port offset. The next step is we want to put the caulking in the corner between the jamb and the sill. We want to put a lot of caulking in here to make sure that we seal that up when we put the Damsill in place. We're going to put caulking on top too. But the first place we want to have caulking is going to be right here. We want to put a lot in there. Remember, this is not an aesthetic, and nobody's going to see this after it's closed up the windows in place. So we're going to put a lot in place there. We'll do the same on the other side. And before you put the caulking in place, you want to put your Damsill in place. Just make sure it fits. We already did that. The next place we're going to put some caulking is going to be on the back side of the flange. Now this is the way the Damsill is going to sit in here. We want to put caulking all the way along the back side of this flange that lays over the front of the Tyvek right here. So that's going to be caulked in place. So I'm going to put caulking, again, use plenty of caulk on the back here when you put it in place to hold it in place. Once we have the caulking all on the back flange, then we're ready to put the Damsill in place. We'll set it right into the joint. Once we get it flat, we're going to push it back in here. And you can see that we get some caulking that's going to come out here. The only place that we're really concerned about being blocked up is to make sure our drainage ports are not blocked up anywhere. So any of this caulking that's along here won't really matter as long as it's not in line with our drainage ports and not blocking those. Now you can see I've got some caulking squeezing out here, and I've got it over here. You can't see that, but I've got a little bit sticking out here too. We want that there. We're going to put a little bit more in place too after we cut our end dams. Now the next thing we're going to do is create some end dams, and where we're going to get the end dam piece is actually off this back flange on the Damsill. There is already a score built into the back of this, and we use that most of the time for popping off the back flange for retrofitting. But in new construction, we actually cut those off when we're going to make an end dam that's going to go right down in here. So what I'm going to do is take a knife and just score this a little bit to make that easier to pop off of there. Then all you have to do is fold it over and it snaps off. That piece we're going to take and cut to exactly the length we need to fill in this end dam. So we'll score this and cut it and put it in place. Got it. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is cut an end dam to go in place. So I'm just going to take that piece we snapped off. I'm going to look at how long I need it to be, about right there. And all you have to do is score it with a knife like that, and then snap it. It breaks right off. And where that's going to go is right in here against this edge right here. We've already got some caulk in there, so I can just go ahead and push it in place right there. Now having extra caulk in here is not going to hurt anything. I'm going to clean up that joint, and then I'm going to put a little more caulk back in this corner to make sure that our back flange is in contact with our end dam. Now one of the places we want to make absolutely sure we have caulking is in this back corner where we have the end dam joining up with the back flange. That's where we have a joint that needs to be caulked. The other part that's really important that we caulk is this center channel right here. We cut that off, so there is no end dam built into this here. We need to make sure that we've got plenty of caulk right down, especially right there. And we'll go ahead and put another joint in here and seal that up, and make sure that this back edge, that we've got a good solid caulk joint right there. And again, aesthetics is not a big issue here. I want to put a little bit here along this edge where the edge sticks out from the Tyvek, and that's it. We're done. We can clean that joint up a little bit, but what we want to happen is if any water comes down this edge, it's going to hit this caulk joint, go into the pan, or any leaks that come from the construction of the window are going to hit that pan. And now that we've got end dams on both sides, we're ready to put our window in place. Okay, we're ready to put the window in place, but one thing I want to do before I put the window in place, we have a nail flange window here, which would be typical, is I want to mark where my drain ports are here so I can see them after I put the window in place. So I'm going to put these marks on here just where the drainage ports are. And what that's going to allow us to do is once the window's in place, if we want to put nails into the nailing flange, we just don't want them to hit right where these drainage ports are. So if we know where those are, then we could put our nails in between and put the nailing flange in place like you normally would. This is ABS plastic. You can shoot nails right into it and it won't break it. We installed the window, and on this window we cut the bottom nailing flange off so that you could see what was where the Damsill sits below the window. Now what's important about this is to make sure that we've got the Damsill all the way from jamb to jamb. So any leaks that happen from the construction of the window or happen from the perimeter of the window are going to be caught and brought back out. You can see where the drainage ports are here. The nailing flange will go over there, but since the drainage ports are inset into the ABS plastic, the nailing flange will not block that drainage, so you'll still get the drainage down here. You do want to make sure that you have a consistent piece of moisture barrier underneath here. The Tyvek needs to be consistently, we don't want any gaps in here, we don't want any joints or anything in that, so the water that comes down here is going to go all the way to the bottom. If it's a window above another window, we need to make sure that we have some type of drip edge or a head flashing that's going to take that water away from hitting the head of the other window. You can see here we have our drainage ports, we have it all the way to the edge, we have it caulked in place. The last thing that they would do when they're installing the window is to tape off these edges. They'll use either Tyvek tape or some other type of moisture barrier related tape. They'll tape these off. absolutely do not want to tape the bottom. We see a lot of times where they'll come in and they'll tape off the bottom, and you will have defeated everything we've done with the Damsill. And even if you weren't using Damsill, you should not tape off the bottom of the window when it's installed in a nail flanged window. We're done. A typical window installation like this takes about 5 minutes for Damsill, making Damsill the least expensive and the easiest installed window pan system in the industry. Moisture Warranty Corporation has been installing these pan systems throughout the country, and we've had tremendous luck, but everything comes down to how you install Damsill in the window opening. If you use the procedures we just showed, the failure rate on these is extremely low. Now, as most people know, the failures that we have in the window systems are 90% coming from the construction of the window itself. 10% come from around the outside, but if you install Damsill properly, all of those leaks from the window will be caught and brought back to atmosphere. If you need more information about Damsill, call Moisture Warranty Corporation at 800-400-8679 or go to moisturewarranty.com or damsill.com. Thank you. Hi, I'm Chris Burton with Moisture Warranty Corporation. Today we're going to be introducing you to a new product called Damsill. It's by far the most effective and affordable and easiest pan system to install underneath a window or door. Let me show you a few special features about it. Damsill is designed so that water that comes from the door or window hits these channels, which are sloped toward this center channel. When it hits the center channel, it drains to these drainage ports. Now this sits on the side of the window opening, and the water comes down and drops out here. If you can see where that's recessed back into what we call the front flange, and this is the back flange. When we're installing it into an existing home, we'll snap off that back flange. We'll show you how to put it in. Okay, we've made our cut, and the cut is 32 inches wide to make it from jamb to jamb. We want to make sure that we're in contact with the jamb on both sides. The height of the cut here is 5/8 of an inch. Damsill's height here, the only height we need to make is this 5-inch height here. We're going to get rid of this back dam here. We're 1/2 inch tall here. We want to make it 5/8 of an inch because we're going to have a piece of trim that comes over the top of there. So we want to have enough opening here to be able to get the trim in. So we've cut that. Now, when we're doing a retrofit, we install it in 2 pieces. Now, Damsill comes in 3-foot lengths. So you can see that a 3-foot length will cover most common windows, which are less than 36 inches. So on this window, we're about 32 inches or so on this window. When we make our cut, we're going to make it so we have 2 pieces that we install. The first piece that we're going to install, we want to go about halfway across the window. So I've cut this to about 18 inches. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to snap off my back flange. Now this flange is designed, has a little ridge here so that you can just push this down and snap it off. And at a retrofit installation, that's how we're going to do that. We won't use that back dam because we can't get it into our opening. So that's what you're going to end up with. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this piece in here, and we want to slide it up against, right up against the jack stud. But before we do that, we're going to put some caulking on here. We've cut our piece of Damsill. We've snapped off the back flange, and this piece is going to go right in here like this. But when we push it in here, we want to be able to push it in and then move it sideways because we're going to be putting caulk on this end. So we're installing in 2 sections. This is the first section. Now what's important when we put the caulk in place is that we get plenty of caulk along this end dam. Now you can see right here that there's an end dam on this side, and on this side, this is where we made our cut. We don't have an end dam there. So we want this up against the jack stud. So we're going to put plenty of caulk right in here along this edge. Right in there. Then the other place we're going to put caulking is along this back flange, right here. We're going to run caulk along here. And that's going to go right along the outside to hold the dam sill in place. Again, doing this neatly is not important. Just making sure we got plenty of caulk to hold it in place and that we got plenty of caulk on this end. Then we're going to take the piece. We don't want to push it in against there. We want to come over about an inch first, put it in place, and when we've got it there, then we're going to push it in real good and tight up against the end dam, or the end dam, so it's in contact with the jack stud. So we got good contact there. If water comes down the jack stud, it's going to hit that caulking, get into the dam sill, and come out our vent here. Okay, we're ready to install the second piece of dam sill in the opening. And what we want to do is measure the remainder of the opening. In this case, we've got a measurement of about 13 3/4 inches here. What we want to do is make our cut in the dam sill so that we just have a small notch in here that's about a 1/2 inch wide. That'll allow us to do this. When we put our second piece in, we can slide it into the opening. The caulking we have on the end here won't get messed up. We can push it into the opening and then push it sideways in the jack stud. The opening we have in here, we're going to shoot caulk in there to seal that up. So we want to measure this, subtract a 1/2 inch, and then go ahead and put our caulking on this piece to put in. All right, we have put the caulk on the end dam of the piece that we cut. We've got our caulk on the back side of the front flange here. So we're ready to put this in. But I just want to show you what we were doing. This was the whole dam sill piece that we had in place, and we needed to make it shorter. What we wanted to do is make our cut in the center so we have our end dams on the pieces that are going to be in contact with the jack stud. So now we've got our caulking in here. We can slide this right up against this piece. We don't want to mess up our caulking right here, so we're going to push this in against this piece here. And once we get it in place there, then we're going to move it sideways. And that gives us a good tight seal against that jack stud. And that's critical. We want to make sure that that water, if it comes down the jack stud, is going to hit that caulk joint, come into the dam sill, and then drain out. Now we've got this opening right here. What we do with that, we're going to shoot that full of caulk back in here. Make sure that's got plenty of caulk in there. And that'll seal up the ends there so the water won't transfer into that open gap. We also want that joint to be at the least risky part of the window. So if you've got a ganged window opening, we want to make sure it doesn't fall at a mullion. And we'd rather it didn't fall where you have an opening mechanism in a casement window. Try to put it in the lowest risk area you can. Now we've got the dam sill in place. It's up against the jack studs on both sides and sealed, and we're ready to put the trim piece on. Okay, we're ready for the final installation detail. This is a piece of drip edge, normal piece of drip edge. You can see here where it comes over just essentially in an L shape, and then has a little drip edge right here. We're going to slip that on top of here to cover all this up. Now we've used black caulk just so you could see it well on the video, but normally you would use white caulk, something that's going to blend in with the window trim. So this piece is going to fit right on top of the dam sill and slide in place. And we've got that. Now you can't see where it's covering up the dam sill underneath here. Now one thing you never want to do is ever put a caulk joint down in here because that blocks our drainage path. We're going to put a caulk bead all the way along here to seal in that drip edge, and then we're going to seal up these end pieces here, and we're done. All right, we're ready to caulk the trim detail in place. We've got our drip edge in over the top of the dam sill, and we want to caulk in this end right here just to make that a little more attractive. And then we're going to run a caulk bead all the way along here. And that's it. We'll want to clean up that caulk joint a little bit. And we're using black caulk before and putting white over the top of this. You, of course, want to use white trim or white caulk to finish this off. But that's it. We want to keep this area open underneath here so we've got a clear drainage. Caulk in the areas. We want to make sure we've got a good perimeter seal on the window. We want to make sure that the elements of the window are caulked up. So we want to make sure the miter joints and all and elements of the window that might leak are caulked up so hopefully the water doesn't make it to the dam sill. But if you install it like we've shown here, if water gets in through the window construction or around the perimeter, it's going to make it to the dam sill and make its way out.